good morning, and good night. Thanks again for downloading the Body Snatchers podcast. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and comment. So let's get started. Enjoy the show.
All right, guys, good morning, good night. Thank you for choosing the Body Snatchers podcast. Today I'm hanging out with Kellz and Gia. We have some news on these 30-plus days of quarantine. That's been like a nightmare.
God, why'd you have to put an actual number to it? I've been day 39.
I stay in the house.
Funny when we were day 7, but now it's okay.
Day 39, still on quarantine. What the fuck is going on?
This is rough. But we do have some new stuff going on. So we have 2 contests going right now if you happen to catch this episode before April 25th. So make sure you head over to our website, check it out, Twitter, Instagram, all of it's there, bodysnatchersmedia.com. Basically, Gia, out of the kindness of her heart, and I'm going to highlight her because it's from the podcast, but it's really from Gia, is for this deluxe version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I hope everybody's excited for that. In order to enter it, just become a patron member. So head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com and sign up for the patron account. $1 is the minimum. And it'll be a random grab for somebody who's a patron. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, we're also going to give out a normal version of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. In order to do that, we need you to head over to iTunes, look up Body Snatchers Media, and just leave us a 5-star review. That's all we ask. And that one's going to be a digital copy. So you'll get that right away.
Yes.
All the fun stuff. So I did want to do some chit chat about some things going on in the gaming industry right now. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what's going on at all. Yes, no, maybe?
Somewhat. I've been hearing chitter chatter of Breath of the Wild 2 getting its release date pushed out soon. So I'm really excited about that. And I've been watching the trailers.
I still haven't played the first one outside of just dabbling at a friend's house, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of neat. I'll buy it."
Yeah, I never beat it either because I had to reset my Switch and buy data.
I don't know. I played it through 2 different times, and I'm helping Brand through a playthrough right now, and I still really like it.
3 times.
I mean, I'm not knocking it. That game got nothing but flawless reviews across the board. It looked fantastic. But it came out, and I didn't have a Switch, and then my first game was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I fell in love with it. And
and you wasted your life on that.
Yeah, okay, coming from the person who hasn't beat it yet. I
have not beat it, you're right, because it got boring after a point, and I really, really, really enjoy it, because I finally got Cosmos as one of my, I can't even remember what they're called, but one of the weapons, basically. And I was pretty freaking stoked, because that tied it directly into Xenosaga, and I was just like, heck yeah. But again, I got kind of bored, and that's my problem too. I get bored with games, but I usually do try to finish them. So I do have plans to go back and finish it. At least I can say that. But that game has 120 freaking hours of stuff, so it's hard.
Damn, that's too much time.
No.
Yeah, I play shooting games. I have a low attention span.
And I really wish you didn't. I feel like you'd be a better person if you spent some time and energy on some of these other video games.
I just choked on my water. Jesus.
Oh, you got jokes. Oh, shit.
I love SpongeBob. Only episode he's ever seen that he watches on repeat is the goddamn Doodle Bob episode.
Bro, that episode was the greatest. That shit was fucking hilarious.
You're not... you know what? Case in point.
I was just about to say, you should realize that as a Marine, his attention span goes to things that look like they're drawn with crayons.
Oh my God.
He's drawn to those kind of things. And it's okay.
Oh my God.
I was just about to make a joke on myself, but you know what? All right. Bet.
Embrace it. Draw with your crayons.
I got no comeback right now.
God, there's too many L's in your name.
You know what's funny is when you have the L, but when you have multiple L's and then you just give yourself the Z or the S noise at the end of it too. Whew.
Maybe it's the French L. I don't know. La la.
It'd be the Spanish L case.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got no comeback right now. I was not expecting that.
Well, you'd be more creative and have faster comebacks if you played games that had depth to them.
Oh,
depth. All right.
Yes. All right. Now, moving on to the next thing.
Fuck you.
The Facebook gaming app dropped, it was either today or yesterday, and that should be interesting. The whole thing behind that is, how Facebook is trying to like really hard to become a serious competitor for like Twitch and some of the other streaming.
Yeah, for the streaming.
With Mixer and Twitch and
whatever. Why it take you guys so long to do that? Why? So stupid.
Here's the thing. They started doing it with allowing you to go live on your pages, and then they kind of stopped it for a while. Because when I was initially just getting into streaming, I was doing it through the Facebook page streaming. And then about a year ago, I noticed that they were really pushing gaming stuff. And they were bringing over big names in like Diablo 3 and Overwatch and like pushing them to stream more on the Facebook platform. But then really I saw it had died off. So this is a little exciting. But I also feel like if Mixer was able to kind of catch up with Twitch by, yoinking Ninja and I mean, honestly, they didn't really catch up yet, but they're on their way to it. And I think Facebook gaming's doing better than the YouTube live streaming for gaming right now. So they're doing something.
Yeah, YouTube's pretty messy when it comes down to it. And the Facebook one's caught my interest, but I mean, I'm already putting so much effort into Twitch. It's like I really don't have time to be dividing it up and trying my best. And honestly, I get super annoyed when I'm on Facebook and a lot of pages that I've liked from like years ago all of a sudden have transformed into gaming pages, which is not why I followed them. And I'm not saying I'm against like gaming news or anything, and I don't want to, push anybody down who's trying to get their platform off the ground. Like I totally get it, but I hate when I just get like notifications and like I'm like, oh, what's this? And then it's like, oh, so and so that I've never met before, I don't even remember liking the page, is live, and I'm like, okay, and
then you go back through and you see that you were following them for something completely different. Yeah, I know those feels.
Oh yeah, like memes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, memes are fine and news and creative content, but like, I don't know. I wish it didn't automatically enroll you into the announcements that they're live, like gaming. I get they're trying to drag people in, but
yeah, and then you have to go turn the notifications off,
which is a whole pain in the ass because it's not in the same spot that most of them are. And I don't want to go down, that far down the rabbit hole. I just wanted to bring it up. Also, it's only available for Android, so it's supposed to come to iOS at some point. The rumor is that they have tried to reach some sort of agreement with Apple because Apple's really weird about their apps, and
because they want things to mainly be from them versus third party.
Security.
Sketch, but if it ends up being like over the top security issues, we'll see what happens. So it's whatever, but I'm sure it's on its way. So yeah, if you guys have Android and you do want to check it out, see if it's worth it, go ahead. But I don't have a lot of faith in Facebook's applications that aren't the app itself. Like the Facebook app is okay, Messenger is okay, but if you run like pages or want to see like analytics and stuff like that, like that Facebook has on the side, all those apps
suck
on paper. Yeah, on paper they sound really good, but they're awful.
Yeah, they were really rough. Well, I mean, even the regular Facebook app gets rough too, because you'll literally be sitting there using it, and then in the middle of you using it, they'll push out an update, and then they'll like reverse it 30 minutes later, and it's just like, all right, you wasted my time getting me to try to get used to this just to go back. So, well, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to download it to my Android, but I guess I'll check out what other people are doing with it.
Yeah, I downloaded it. When I heard it, I was like, oh, I'll just download it and see who's on, even though I don't watch people on Facebook. But fuck it.
And then that aside, today is 420, which means absolutely nothing to me because I don't really smoke, but it is also the 2-year anniversary for God of War 4, which is one of the greatest games I've played on that console. So
on that console or console?
Council. The Council of Foreign Relations.
Oh, it's the Jedi Council?
Yeah.
I can pronounce it however the fuck I want.
But, I mean, that's not how it's spelled, my dude.
Bro.
I didn't spell it, though. I pronounced
it. But I'm saying the way that it's spelled is not pronounced the way that you did.
No, but I can say it however I want to say it. Is this not American?
Again, how well?
Oh, no. Well, actually. Well. I'm just kidding. Continue.
I'm too angry to focus now.
God of War 4. Or 4. I get confused saying it that way because they literally just named it God of War. But yeah, so 2-year anniversary. Is there any news about DLC or further games?
Nah, I haven't heard anything about it. I just wanted to bring it up and remind people who have... A lot of people are buying PlayStations now, specifically for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And once that's ran its course, the suggestion I was going to make was, hey, I would definitely urge you to check out God of War 4, especially since the game isn't even $60 anymore. Even though it's cheaper, one of the best games you'll buy. Like, you will not regret your purchase.
Yeah, I bought it for $20 at Walmart. Not even $15.
Horizon Zero Dawn is also a honorable mention.
Another game I didn't beat yet or even play.
That's because you don't finish games. You and Jay have so much in common.
Oh god, y'all are like brothers, aren't you? He's secretly your brother.
Besides, if I get wrestled with, I know how to get out of stuff, and he gets choked out.
Oh
my god! Don't. Well, you know what? That's a lot of shade, and I'm not going to step on his toes right now. If he hears this episode, he will not like.
I was dying when I seen that.
I'm just gonna remain quiet.
Yeah, that got personal. And then the only other thing that I wanted to bring up before we dive into whatever, I don't even know if you guys know it. I'm sure you've heard. So Sony and Microsoft have like low-key announced without announcing that they're going to, in May, give out a lot more key information in regards to the next generation systems. So that should be exciting since E3 is definitely going to be canceled.
Yeah.
It was already canceled.
Well, yeah, I'm saying because it's canceled, they're going to like do announcements earlier. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or just make a live Nintendo show like Nintendo does. Treehouse.
The direct.
Well, Sony usually does something. Microsoft, it's Microsoft. They can send that shit straight to your computer. If you're going to see it whether or not you want to.
That's true, but would they? Because not everybody owns an Xbox.
Through Windows, we can hack into your computer.
When you open up the Windows Store, they can just send out an update like that just has a little video that pops up and plays like when you're looking at it. Hey, click here for news. So, I mean, they can do that.
Here or else we would blow your computer up.
Jeez.
You like that?
It doesn't have to be like that.
Oof.
But all right, so I really wanted to get to the meat and potatoes of today and spend a good maybe 20 minutes talking about it. I am a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. I love Final Fantasy. Gia loves Final Fantasy. Kellz has heard of it.
Well,
and
bro, I never beat the game. That's why I'm always like, spoiler, even I already know. For like the past 10, 20, 15, I don't fucking know. I could have beaten it, but
20 years, yes, my dude, like 23.
Yeah, I bought it for the cell phone, I bought it for the Switch, and I still never beat it.
How you spend so much money not to beat a game?
Because the memory card, I didn't have a memory card back then.
They should have never gave you people money.
Man, I didn't know your phone needed a memory card. Dang.
Yeah.
So this game has definitely like met and exceeded all of my expectations all the way around. For those of you who are not familiar with the way that things are kind of being rolled out, it is a complete game. You should be able to get, I would say, at minimum 35 hours of gameplay out of it. Probably more if you're slow playing it like myself. So that's the thing. And more if you go back and play on a hard mode. You're not going to get the full 3 discs worth of Final Fantasy in this game, just so you know. And everybody knew that going into this, but I just feel like if you're listening to this podcast and you didn't know that, now you know, and you shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't, I'm going to wait till the rest of the games come out. This is a full game. I'm sure Gia wants to chime in on that, so Gia.
I do. So not only is it a full game, they literally took the first 5 hours, not the first disc, the first 5 hours of the game, and they expanded it into 35 to 40 hours. So you are getting a lot of content. It is a lot of the stuff that, so a lot of people that have played Final Fantasy VII throughout the years have researched and done reading on it, and it was very clear that the directors and the creators of this game had to pull stuff out because just the sheer size of the game already at 3 discs, they had to just remove stuff. So they removed bits and pieces here and there. And if you ever replay 7, there are several parts that are just like, okay, so why is this happening? And they never really explain it very well, especially in the Midgar section. So what this game does, even with the changes that it makes to certain things, it keeps a lot of the core elements, but it also flushes out a lot of the stuff. So for instance, for me, Wall Market made no sense. Well, a little bit of sense, but there was a lot of things that you could tell were missing from there. And then when you get to Wall Market in the remake, you can just see how much that they put back into it, how they flushed everything out, and everything makes so much more sense. And the changes in general are just really well done.
It's a lot more complete. And that's to say that, when they originally made Final Fantasy, and granted, they stretched that game out over 3 discs and it was just nuts. They, even with 3 discs, they weren't able to get everything that they wanted, and there were a lot of cuts made. And I think last year when we talked about this in more detail, we touched base on it. But just to reiterate for the people who are here today, so to add to Gia's point, yes, like it's Final Fantasy on crack. Like it's fantastic. Some of the things that stand out to me, and I'm curious to get Kell's opinion on this as well, is the battle system. When I played the demo, I felt and saw a lot of potential in the battle system. I was just concerned because it takes a little bit to get used to. Some people picked it up pretty quickly. Some people, it took them a day or two. I heard a lot of complaints from people who initially got into the game, and then a day or two later, like, I changed my mind. I love it. So if you have a couple hours in, pretty much everybody loves it. But I mean, you feel like you're playing with all 3 characters at the same time when you're switching between, Barrett and Cloud and Tifa. Like, it just fits. Like, it just works. It flows so smooth. Anybody agree? Disagree? What do you guys think?
Yes, 100%. So something that I was doing a lot of reading on is when they initially announced the 7 remake, the creators and developers definitely made nods to Final Fantasy 13. And with that being said, you can see a lot of the battle system there in this game, as well as like some of the battle system from 15. So it's like they were continuously building on this way to fight now, and they still did enough to keep it similar to the turn-based method that you would have done in the original game, with you having to like build up your AT bar to use items, to use spells, to use abilities. I was very excited about the stagger aspect, where you can stagger enemies, because
it's great.
Yes, and that's a direct nod to 13, because 13 had I think it was like a chain bonus thing, and it was exactly the same. You did enough damage, you hit it enough times, used enough of its weak element, and then you would start chaining like bonus hits, so you would deal more damage after you completely maxed out this gauge. And it's exactly the same thing in this game. And I found it easier to stagger things in general with Tifa, because it's like she's built for doing that. But I know there's ways that you can stagger with other characters. And I just thought it was really awesome to be able to switch between the different characters and do things. And you didn't even necessarily need to switch between them. You could literally like in the middle of it, I guess it's like a sort of pause, but if you hit R2, L2, it'll switch between the other 2 characters and do a quick pause. You can pick what ability or spell you want them to do, and you can remain on the main character that you were playing with. So I felt it was really well done, and I'm sure Kellz has opinions.
Let's hear him, Kellz. Mister, I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy games. What's your impression?
Hey, no memory cards last, so I don't know. But I definitely did. I like the old classic style of playing the video games, but it added a twist to it, and that was something different. I never really played Final Fantasy 13, so when you said that, I was like,
When you say classic style, do you mean like turn-based?
Yes, I like the turn-based style, but
okay,
I didn't have much of a problem with the new style, because it's a newer generation of video games now. It's not like how it was back in the day, and I liked it. I was like, all right, besides the camera angles, it was a pain in the ass, but at least when you use certain skills, it gives you time to think about, like, all right, I'm doing this skill, what I want Barrett to do, what I want Tifa to do, or everyone else. It's like,
Tifa.
What I want to do, Tifa. God damn it.
He's close. The camera thing, like, I personally really like the camera. I did see in a few forums that there's a handful of people, a group, if you will, that exists that absolutely hates the way the camera is default. So after the podcast, I would suggest look it up. There's a couple people who had like a very simple trick to like totally change the camera, and they all loved it. Everybody who had that complaint, I apologize for not knowing it off the top of my head, but I would say try it.
You basically go into your gameplay settings and you switch the camera, you switch the lock on, I believe, to the left and right buttons on the D-pad versus it being like you pressing in the R3, and then you can set the camera control to the R3 and you can control it that way. I honestly never had a problem with the camera, I guess because I'm used to playing games where I constantly have to manipulate the camera anyway. It didn't bother me, but I did see that a lot of my friends too did have a problem with it. I guess because sometimes the way that the camera would move, and they couldn't figure out how to move it back around.
Those FPS guys, man, I'm telling you, they're used to the camera being stuck on top of their head like a GoPro.
Yeah, but if you go to our other group, so we have the Body Snatchers gaming, comics, and anime group, but we also have the gaming console. And in that group, there's a lot of the other members. They're constantly posting little tips and tricks for different games. And that's actually where they had that posted. So if anybody needs any help, you can just go join that group. Kellz, you can go join that group so that you can figure out how to manipulate your camera.
I already know how to do it. I'm already in there.
What? Did you just put your mouth? Did you just swallow your mic?
Kind of.
You can't put everything large and black and cylinder shaped in your mouth, Kellz.
Why not? If it's like a crayon shaped, I like
Is this super bad? And every good food is shaped like, you know what? I'm not even going to finish it.
Well, if you're gonna do it, at least film yourself and set up like an OnlyFans, because Twitch ain't gonna cut it, buddy.
Yeah, you're right. That's giving me thoughts, man.
Make this money. It's quarantine, baby.
No,
so, okay. So, battle system in a nutshell. Those are our thoughts on it. Specifically, though, I did want to talk a little bit about the materia. Materia is in every Final Fantasy game. It's a huge, huge, awesome, amazing aspect that I love. And I would say Final Fantasy 7 and 10 were probably my two, favorites. Just for the way the materia was set up. And
the way magic is set up.
Well, I'm saying materia specifically because I'm with the orbs and everything. Like that's what I like. Because magic isn't all of them, but it's always not.
The summons look so fucking good.
Hold on, we'll come back. We'll come to summons. That's a different materia. He's so anxious. But they have all the traditional materials so far, anyways, that you would be able to get in that point in the game. And including some others, but there's a lot of other stuff that I've never seen in there. And I was going to ask you, Gia, because I beat it multiple times, and there's a couple onesie twosies that like seem brand new. Is that the same for you, or am I maybe forgetting about?
Yeah, there were several that were completely different. And the materia system, while similar, was definitely different because, like in the original, if you would max out a materia, it would give birth to a new materia. So
right, and I tried it, and it didn't work.
Yeah, they completely removed that.
Yeah, I don't remember MP up and all those other ones. I was like, this is kind of extra. What?
No, MP up, not to ruin your example, but MP up was out there. HP up was out there. There's a couple like
Elemental blue one, yeah.
Elemental was in there because Elemental's a go-to because you can do so much more damage if you know the weakness to whatever monster you're getting ready to fight.
I didn't know how to do it at first until I died after the airbuster the first time. I was like,
how? Because it tells you.
I didn't read. I don't like reading.
He's not reading that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot Marines can't read. There's a whole TikTok about it.
Gia, are you okay? You're so aggressive today.
I haven't been on a show with Kellz in like 20 years, so it's therapeutic, man.
The constant roasting.
Right? I feel like I should have got marshmallows. I didn't know it was going to be that kind of roast.
It's okay, though. I got no comeback right now.
Oh, okay.
I watched 20 more episodes. I come back and be like, yeah, I remember that.
So, okay, materia, just to be clear, they've added in some new ones, which is awesome. They have a bunch of the classic ones. The only downfall, which isn't really a huge hindrance, but it is kind of for some rare materia, is that they don't, give birth. Okay, fine. I can accept it. But I did want to talk about, or I should say Kellz wants to, he's so thirsty, the summon materia. So, Kellz, you have the floor.
It's so nice.
Oh, God.
Ifrit. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Did I get that right?
Always see Ifrit. What about him?
Ifrit?
Bro, that animation and everything. I still haven't gotten Shiva because Shiva's being the fucking cunt.
What part of the game are you on?
I'm not that far right now. I've been doing side quests and I've been killing monsters. My tally score in Midgar is 200. I just been traveling.
Man, I just got hot and my armpits started sweating when you said that, and I was just like, Shiva, she's number 2. What the? I just got so mad.
No wonder you only named off one. That's all you have. And I'm assuming you didn't get... Well, did you get the pre-order materia at least? Any of them?
Yeah, remember in the group chat he said that he got like Baby Chocobo and all that other stuff?
I probably didn't even activate it yet.
Wow, you should probably do that.
What are you even doing?
I just been cruising, Tarkov, not really.
Instead of Final Fantasy 7 Remake that he wanted to be on the show for,
Because I love the game, David. It looks so good.
Bro, you got to do better.
Meanwhile, we're about to start spoiling all kinds of stuff for him.
Do it. I should have beat the game 20 years ago.
Should have.
Oh my god. Okay, so then so Kellz knew about the existence of Shiva, which is cool. One thing that I really like in this game for materia is that there's materia that's just out there in the world, and you have to pay close attention to find. And sometimes there's little puzzles that you need to figure out to get there, and that's great. I'm happy that's still there. And sometimes you miss it, you might not be able to get back to an area like the traditional game. That sucks. Have an extra save spot. Good luck to you. But I like that little. The guy in the town that appears, he's in every single town once you talk to him.
He talks too much.
Yeah, I love him. So he gives you like a set of mini quests to do as you're fighting mobs or whatever.
The battle intel.
Mm-hmm. And as you turn him in, you end up unlocking. What does he say he is? He's like a junior Shinra.
He's like a research person in the Shinra Science, the research and development department.
But he also like low key says he hates Shinra and wants to work with you and assist you.
He's interning so he can take them down from the inside.
And then make his own corporation and do the same thing.
Oh.
Hey, you know what though? Power to him, because he's inventing new materia. He gets ideas based on whatever you do in battle, and it's pretty fair, I think. Like a lot of times, he's like, I've invented a new materia, and he'll have maybe 3 in stock. For instance, you'll buy one at like 100 gil, and then the price like inflates. It skyrockets. I think the first one is like 100. The second one is usually like it could be 3,000 or 5,000.
10,000 gil.
Yeah, big monies.
Give me your money right now.
But I like that it's so cheap initially, because at least you can test it out and see like, okay, is this something I need more of in my party? Because some of these are the new materia that I'm referring to. And every once in a while, he throws a curveball where he's like, all right, so I've got this VR headset. So I love being in 2020 where games try to modernize a little bit. So put this on and, you fight, let's say Shiva, for example. And if
get
you beat
destroyed.
Shiva, I actually was power leveling with Shiva. It was no problem at all. She was weak to fire. All you need is fire.
I literally didn't have an issue until I got to Leviathan, so.
Yeah, I died like 4 or 5 times on her already, because I go sleepy, and she drops the giant icicle on my head, and I'm dead.
You should just do share play with Tino and let him beat it for you.
I got you, bro.
Tino's helped me with
doing
something
that
before.
Never.
If you need
Final
it,
Fantasy 15, because there was an issue that I couldn't freaking do, and I was in Korea, and Tino share played with me, and he got it for me. So just get the help, my dude.
Never.
Never.
that pride, man, it'll kill you.
No, yeah. So I really liked the whole thing with Chadley. As you complete his battle analysis, he'll give you, like you were saying, new materia, and also it'll unlock summon materia as you go. And I remember in our our admin chat for the group, a lot of the guys didn't know there was anything after Leviathan until I told them, because I finally finished the max all of the green materia battle intel. And I was just like, hey, did y'all unlock Bahamut? And they were just like, what? So that one you get to unlock after you complete all 19 battle assessments. And it's pretty awesome. And he's ridiculous. And Leviathan was ridiculous. And yeah.
Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're having trouble with Shiva, like... Whew.
You're never going to get there.
Yeah, I'm probably going to break on my controller, I guess. It's just like,
just start the game over on easy, man. Just do it.
I would never do that.
You know what? I will let you know. I did not know this until a day or two ago, because I was talking to someone about it. And they told me that they tried playing it on normal and they were having a rough time. And do you know that you can change the difficulty while you're playing? I didn't know. But apparently you can go into gameplay, yes, and you can go into settings and you can change it from normal to easy.
I will never do that. I always usually beat games in the hardest difficulty.
Well, I mean...
Did you put this game on hard, having no experience with Final Fantasy at all?
You have to beat it to get the hard mode unlocked. But yeah, he definitely put it on normal mode with no experience.
Yeah, you're not ready for this, man. Like, just because you had sex one time doesn't make you a porn star.
But it can, though.
All right, man. You bring that pipe to the game if you want to.
With that being said, the Honeybee Inn or Lodge, or I can't remember what it's called now because it was so long ago that I did that. I will say that some people did comment that they expected more debauchery in that whole scene. And I will tell you that if you look in the keyholes like you did in the original one, you will see very similar scenes to what you saw in the original. And it's so good. and it's so
That's
funny.
what I saw.
I was watching Tino playing it. It was actually hilarious.
This dude's like, I'm gonna catch you, and the chick's just like, catch me, beekeeper, or whatever the heck she called him. And like, they did one full circuit around the room, and then he would just like put his hands on his knees, breathing heavy with his little freaking bug net. And then like, if you look away and look back again, he's just like, all right, I'm gonna get you this time, and starts chasing her again. And I was dying.
Oh my god, I gotta see this.
Yeah, I was in tears and was super happy. I loved everything about that. Like, you know, there's a lot of people who are, whatever, we'll use the term, we'll call it what it is, like homophobic and shit like that. And whatever, like, we're not those people. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was very enjoyable. I was expecting it, but I didn't think that it was going to this fun and exciting. I thought it was just going to be like a quick.
It made me want to dance watching you play it. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to.
I was literally in tears, laughing so hard during the whole scene before he gets transformed. And I remember Dalen basically making a comment. He was like, "Did you know that there's a cross-dressing scene?" And I'm like, "Did you never play the original?" Because yes, and in the original,
he clearly didn't.
Yeah, like in the original, you had to do squats for certain pieces. You had to do X, Y, and Z for other pieces. And I'm glad that they kind of removed that aspect from it. It was based on like whose quests you did instead to get whatever dresses or what quests you didn't do. But I was just like, yeah, dude, like there's a whole part that like if you don't do enough squats or good enough on the squats, you get like a wig that smells like pee. Like there's a whole thing. Like
yeah. Oh yeah.
Actually, I think it's like Spanx or something from them. But there was like another quest line you had to do that basically I can't remember clearly, but yeah, and like it was a whole thing to like get all the worst stuff, get the best stuff, get the mediocre stuff. Like I don't know how much time I spent like just doing that in the original.
And you know, one thing, because I realize we're jumping into a lot of. I mean, we're kind of specific, but we're kind of being broad, which is fine. Whatever, we're all over the place. This isn't like a linear review, but one thing that I think a lot of people will appreciate, whether you're a new fan or an old fan, is how much attention to detail they put into this game when you're just walking around in the streets with, you know, random NPCs and animals and the sounds and the music and just all sorts of stuff. You know, there's these little fun side quests that sometimes add to bigger quests that have to do with music. So like you might be walking past a certain area where, you know, you're just in earshot of some song you've never heard, and a little box pops up with like question marks on it, and you might have to, you know, talk to the right person that is gonna, you know, give you a sample of that song so you know the name, or walk over to the jukebox so you can see it, or whatever. It's different for a lot of them, but that was fun. I like that almost every NPC has something to say, like a couple things to say. It's not boring at all. Things like that. I don't know. It reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy 15. But there's pros and cons to it. 15 was a lot more open world feeling, even though it was short and small. And, you know, in Final Fantasy 7, I feel that they did take a lot of the open world feel away. It's still pretty linear compared to the, you know, like in contrast with the old game.
And I can agree with that.
There's more detail.
But the section that they pulled was not open worldish at all. And they actually expanded it a whole lot. So it feels more open world than it did originally. So,
well, I'm not saying that it's, you know, Crash Bandicoot.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, and I believe the next part will definitely have, obviously, because they've now left into the open world. I'm excited to see that fucking Midgar snake, and that's, I don't know. Sorry, you just got me real hyped.
5G that killed it?
It was 5G that killed it. God dang. Forgot I shared that meme.
No, I mean, and I'm super excited to see that as well. But you know, like this. Let me be clear. I'm not trying to complain about it. It's just probably the one thing that I wasn't quite as excited about. You know, if I had to like nitpick a little bit. But in their defense, with it not being as open world in those parts, yes, what Gia said is correct. These areas were much tighter in the original game. But again, they're very, very detailed. They capitalized on what they have. I never felt bored because it's so beautiful and there's just so much stuff going on, and it changes depending on where you're at in the story. You know, it's not like the same spot every single time. So
someone brought it to my attention, and I guess this was their biggest issue with the game, is that you can't alter your party members. And I didn't notice because I was just having so much fun running through with the characters that you're given. But there's never a point where you have like the 3 other people that you can just pick and choose and make your party, you know, of 3. Like you're given your 3 or your 2, and then the other one is just running around as like a guest party member, I guess you would say, kind of like with your surprise at the end of the game. But
Yeah.
like, and I didn't realize that happened until it was mentioned to me. And I think it was mentioned to me on Monday or Tuesday. So I jumped on the game and I went to a couple spots where I knew that, you had all 4 people with you, but it was absolutely true. Like you can't switch between party members. And not that bothers me, but I feel like there's more people that probably did bother.
I think
I didn't
that
even realize it.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
I realized it, but my assumption, which is still an assumption, is that they're going to wait until the second game comes out. Because once, like right now, they can get away with it because there's really only 4 playable characters.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've got like a huge, roster of people to choose from, they can't make the excuse that, oh, okay, Team B is over here now.
Well, yeah, and I feel like when they're doing specific story things, then they'll probably do that again.
Yeah.
Like they'll have very specific spots where like you have to have Sid in your party, or you have to have Yuffie, or like if you find Valentine, you have to have him in your party. But I also feel like when you're doing a lot of the open world, just like traveling and doing random things, that you definitely will be able to pick. And something else that I wanted to touch base on real quick, because you keep saying like this when the second game comes out, I would like for everybody to hear me say this. It was never confirmed that there's only going to be 3 parts. People took the creators saying, yeah, we looked to Final Fantasy 13 for a lot of cues and, we liked what we did there. And they took that as meaning that there's only going to be 3 parts. The argument I would give here is that this first part was literally the first 5 hours of a 40-hour game. And I find it very hard to believe that they're going to try to split it into like 2 more parts with just, I don't know, splitting that last 35 hours into 17 and a half hours per part, or actually it'll be more than that. I'm sorry, my math is dumb because I'm tired. But basically,
there's no way.
Like I feel like it's going to at least be like 4 or 5 parts at the least, just because of how much stuff that they have to cover.
My argument to that would probably be, because I feel the same way, but if they don't go that route and they're like, okay, so say they do, 3 actual games, which again, they did not ever say that officially. That's
no,
just like
every time that anybody's asked, they said, we don't know how many parts we're going to make. And that's like the official word from the developers and Square Enix is, we don't know.
Right, but for the sake of conversation, let's assume that there's 3.
It better
if
be
they do something
$60.
like, well, it's going to be, so get over it. But if there's 3 or 4, I think that this would give them the opportunity in between major development to drop really well-written expansions. That would be fantastic. I would be in love if they did that. Something to hold me over with another, 20 hours of gapeplay or 15 hours. I would love that.
Mm.
But that's just what I'm hoping. Who knows? We'll find out.
Just make a DLC where it's less money, so people have to spend $60 every episode.
Well, I mean, if every episode's a full-length game, then I wouldn't expect them to not make it less than what a full-length game would cost.
Yeah, what's up with that? You're the Bitcoin master.
Yeah, but I like, saving some so I don't have to spend a bunch, and it's just like, fuck. Another game not gonna be anytime soon.
I look at it this way. With this remake, it's individual games in an entry to the series. So that would be like saying when God of War 2 or God of War 3 came out to say, oh, it should just be cheaper in DLC, even though it's still a whole ass game because it's a part of this story. And, if you wanted the whole story out and us to pay for the whole story, you should have done it with the first release. Like, I get it, but they're literally adding a crap ton of stuff to this. So it's not like it's going to be simple DLC like, Stone and Heart or Heart, whatever the heck the Witcher 3 one was, or like the Hearthstone or Heartfire or whatever it
something
is for Skyrim.
Wine, blood and wine or something.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that where it's only like an extra 10 to 15 hours worth of gameplay. Like it's supposed to be a full-on game with a lot of different things to do.
Yeah, and that it pisses me off that people are so fucking ignorant, because there's so much that goes into making this game. It's not something you just throw together immediately. It takes years to put this together, at least the initial game. So that's one thing. But the other side is, a game and a story are not the same thing. And I think people need to get that through their skulls. When you pay $60, you're getting a full, complete game. you know what I mean? It's worth every penny that you spent, but you're not getting the entire story that at one point years ago was all crammed into one game. And that should be okay. As long as you're getting your money's worth and they give you the amount of gameplay that you need, I don't understand what the issue is here. But I don't know. That's just something I've been back and forth.
Well, back in the day,
10 days.
people had full games and 4 discs because it was not that much data, and CDs sucked back in the day. Now you got Blu-ray CDs that can hold more data inside CDs, so it's like people are like expecting more, but it's a lot of data just to download it to your PlayStation.
It's way more. I mean, it's
like 100
voice
gigs.
actors.
Yeah, and
I was like, geez, my chest.
You have to realize, like, they didn't plan for you to only play through it once and be done. Like, there's stuff that you can't unlock trophy-wise, and I know people are trophy hunters. If/when this gets put out on Xbox One, because the exclusive rights to Sony end like next April, like April 21st of next year, although the developer said they had no plans on releasing it for other systems, I feel like it probably will release on other systems. Like, you got achievement hunters, so people are going to play more than the one playthrough, and when you play it the second time through on hard mode, like, there's some extra things to do. I mean, you have to go through and get all 9 of the bridal dresses to get a trophy. So there's, like, things that can be replayed in this, and it'll give you at least 70 hours of gameplay. And, I mean, I assume the hard mode's going to take a lot longer than playing it on normal did because it's hard. And
you have a lot more time, level 50 cap, so you can't just keep going, when this stuff stops. The other thing that I wanted to bring up in this, I'm trying to think because my brain's all over the place. So like the map loading. I really enjoyed the map loading because everything is like until you get to fast travel, which is way later, and I don't want to touch base or do spoilers, but at some point you eventually get it. It's just so smooth. You'll walk through a gate and things might slow down for a second, but it never stops with like a loading screen. You just kind of walk on through and it just keeps going. It's real smooth, and that's a nice touch because there's a lot of games that still find some creative way to get around it, but in this one it doesn't even feel like it. So even when you're in an area that's kind of somewhat linear, it never feels that way because you're just in and out of areas just effortlessly.
Yeah, I definitely seen that with the PS4 Pro. Yeah, it was like super sampling enabled. I'm like, oh, I feel high class right now.
Oh yeah, it makes you feel special. And the other thing that I meant to bring up earlier, so I'll just bring it up now because we're almost at time. I am a huge fan of lore, which is in part a big reason why Final Fantasy VII specifically is one of my favorite games of all time. There are things that happen, and I don't want to say what for people who have never played these games, which is mind-boggling to me, but let's just assume you didn't. They build up things that are going to hurt you, and they hurt you a lot worse in this game. At least it did for me anyways. And now I can only imagine how like the next... when the rest of the games come out, like how that's going to feel. A lot of big things happen. There's a lot of L's, a lot of sad L's, and I don't think I'm ready for it. Like the way it captured me versus 20 years ago, I mean, it hurt then. This was rough.
Yeah, I'm already expecting it when the certain part in the beginning starts going bad, and I'm gonna be real sad because I know how it ended. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, no.
So we're name dropping?
He just did.
Yeah, what the hell?
I will say I am going to give one single spoiler just because if people are listening to this, they more than likely played the game. And if you didn't play the game yet or beat the game yet, just go ahead and stop this right here and skip.
Is your spoiler a death? It better not be a death.
No, it's not a death.
Okay, you're not ignorant like Kellz. Okay.
No. And so towards the end, since this covers all of Midgar, at the end of the Midgar section in the original game, there's a scene where Hojo, who is a scientist, like basically kidnapping people and experimenting on them or like creating new creatures, essentially. He has Aerith and Red 13 in a cell together, and his whole like thing is, I'm going to make these two breed because a Cetra weird dog creature thing that I can't remember the name of combination, it would live longer because, the Cetra don't have long lives. They die quick. I'll make them mate so that I can have something to experiment on in the future. Well, that happened, and that was like a big point of contention for a lot of people because they were like, you trying to make that dog make a baby with the girl? Like, what? And they kind of like tried to like retroactively get rid of that in Advent Children, because they went through and they made a comment about how Hojo has like, he had a machine that could take DNA from both and then create like a hybrid. Well, they completely changed that in the remake, and they made it so that like Red 13's in his own like singular cell, and you can kind of see him as you're running through the lab area. And then they have Aerith in another one, and now it's changed to they want to like breed her with soldiers from like certain classes, because I mean they have Genova cells, and maybe it'll make like a more robust test subject. So they completely altered that. And there were like a couple other little things here and there that they altered as well. And it was changed from what it was in the original. And I feel like that change specifically was like the best one to me, because I was like, yes, now we don't have to see this awkward scene 2 times in high def. Yeah.
But there are some weirdos out there that would want to see it. So
some people got to pay for that kind of entertainment. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no. But yeah, in the original one, I still want to see him like bust through his glass and like in a same cell with Aerith and like just attack Hojo. And they kind of do it, but it's a little different.
If Tarzan can bust open Gorilla Cheeks on the side, I don't see why Aerith can't bust open some Red 13 cheeks.
You know what? I don't think it will be Aerith busting open his cheeks, but the opposite. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because like I don't...
Maybe, but she's got that big-ass power pole. He might be into that.
Stop.
Peg me, Cetra. Peg me.
No.
Nanaki.
Tino,
wait.
no.
do it.
What?
Tino, stop.
Okay. And then here's the kicker is like she can always cure him and they can keep it going.
Well, I mean, he was curing people too, so. But, I'm not getting
not like her.
They gotta make our OnlyFans now.
Hold on, a little more. I'm almost at my limit break, Nanaki.
Tino,
I'll cure you.
Healing wind.
Kellz, Tino, stop.
Freaky.
All
right, go ahead, make
out there the internet.
Make your last point, and then we should probably go. We're 47 minutes.
That
in.
was mine. I'm done.
So I gotta.
Kellz, you got anything cool to say? Because like you just got silent. He's like, make your last point, and Kellz is like, I got no point.
He's using his free quarantine.
It's like playing a fucking movie. It's really like playing Advent Children. Like there's nothing. I can't think of a single negative thing besides if they can just zoom out the camera a little bit more. Everything else is just spot on, and constantly dying to it. I'm a noob, I guess, and I get mad.
Definitely a noob. I haven't.
The game.
I've died, but not much.
I forgot one. Reno and Root are still Bay. Just want to throw it out there.
Remake game of the year.
And Reeve. And the little like guest appearance of Reeve's little thing in the falling of Sector 7. I just wanted to say I was like stoked when I saw that.
I want to add on to what Gia said real quick. When you guys come to fight Reno and Root, a lot of people on the internet were saying they're way too hard, and those must be like button smash people. Yeah. Just so you know, they're not that hard. In fact, they have fairly basic mechanics. It's just like when you fight them, you can't treat them like a low class soldier. You have to like pay attention like a normal boss fight, because that's exactly what it is. If you pay attention, it's very easy. I'm not even going to tell you what to do. Just you should know. So Kellz is going to struggle.
No, I died on Reno once, and then the second time I was like, oh,
there it is.
The first two I didn't die on him though.
Well,
He was
Rude is definitely. It took me. Well, I lost to him once, and then I realized what I needed to do, and then it was good to go. But the only other boss aside from Leviathan that I really, really had trouble with was that damn Tonberry. And when everybody gets to that point, you'll know.
Oh yeah, I did. I beat him.
Got me once.
First try, but I definitely only beat him because I had a lot of Phoenix Downs on me, and I knew he was going to do that shit. But they added a couple twists that I wasn't expecting to him.
Like being able to wreck you from afar. Yeah, that got me too, because I was like, oh, I know Tonberry, Chef Snipe, just gotta stay the F away. No,
right?
No,
no, just kidding. I've been training with Goku, and I now know instant transmission. I was like, oh, all right.
Let me just block, and it still does as much damage. All right,
dude. No, like you spaced out.
Instant kill, period. So, Kellz, when you get to that point, just use Barret. Stay away from him. If Barret dies, just drop a Phoenix down, because his UI sucks at hitting ones that you're not directly controlling. So he'll miss half the time when he's trying to shank the other two people that are right up on top of him, whooping on him. So just take my advice.
It's like, just take the black guy. All right, say no more.
Take the black guy, go far away, and just live your life.
The voice actor for him was excellent. I met him. He was so charismatic. I was like, I want to be like you one day.
I love his character. Can't you hear the planet crying? Oh shit.
He was so cool with everyone, regardless of that whole coronavirus stuff happening. He was still like talking to everyone and just like shaking hands. He wanted to take pictures of everyone. I'm like, bro, why are you so cool? Man,
that girl Marlene is so brave. She's stronger than me. Oh god. All right, I won't say nothing else. All right, guys, we're getting out of here. I believe that's everything. We just really wanted to talk about it. Everybody's been really excited. Kellz needs to do better, so I hope that you make some progress soon in that game. Get off your free quarantine Pornhub premium account. Put that to the side and focus on the game.
Oh yeah, I forgot it's free. Thanks for reminding me.
You know it's free. Don't you lie to these people.
I don't.
Ooh. Wow.
And don't forget about the contest. Head over to bodysnatchersmedia.com. Go to one of our social network links, and we have all sorts of stuff posted about it. So yeah, become a patron. You have a chance to win. That's all I have to say. Anything else? Anybody? Maybe?
Nah. Good evening and good morning and good night and good day and good everything.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. I don't know. It's fun.
All right.
I missed you, Pandemic.
If you guys want to watch me wrap up the game, because I still have like 2 or 3 chapters left, then head over to twitch.tv/Tino plus Ultra. Shameless plug-in.
And to all our Korean listeners, annyeonghaseyo, since fucking Kellz is over here dropping the Japanese.
Go Minasai.
Shinmaneo. All right. Bye.